next election isn't due until 2029, though. Do you think there could be movement before then?
I think it's unlikely because Labour have a big majority in Parliament and they know they're going to lose the election. So if you're a Labour MP, why would you vote to end the Parliament early? I don't think it's realistic. I think we will go to 2029, and all of these bad ideas, net zero, Keynesian economics where the government spends more money and taxes more, all of these bad ideas are being shown not to work, and that is what is happening now. So I think people almost needed to see what the consequence of these ideas were in order to vote for something different, but I think that is now what's going to happen.
So with Keir Starmer's quite dramatic collapse, we haven't seen support in the Conservative Party rise, and instead it's losing ground to Nigel Farage and Reform. At this point, do you think Nigel Farage could be Britain's next Prime Minister?
Well, he's the bookie's favourite. And just to put some context on this, he's currently polling just over 30% and the Conservative Party are on 16%. And the Labour Party is almost as low as the Conservative Party because people have lost trust in the mainstream because they've been peddling these ideas like mass migration, net zero, big government, all of this stuff, anti-free speech stuff that people actually didn't vote for. And when I look at Australia, I can see the same thing will happen if there isn't a strong fight back to actually oppose these bad ideas. Because what happened is too many people in the Conservative Party bought into this stuff. They bought into transgender ideology, they bought into net zero, they raised taxes to the highest level in 70 years. I tried to stop that when I was Prime Minister, but I got very strong opposition from within the Conservative Party. But the net result of that is the Conservative Party is now losing huge amounts of ground to Reform.
So do you think the Conservative Party needs to change, or do you think you would find a home elsewhere?
Well, the Conservative Party does need to change or it will die.
Yeah.
And
would you consider returning as leader to the Conservative Party? Do you still have political aspirations?
I mean, I don't rule out anything in the future, but what I know from my time as a minister and Prime Minister is what I call the blob in Britain is very powerful, the unelected bureaucrats, the judiciary. So I am only willing to be part of politics if politicians can really actually do things. If it's a case that the Bank of England makes the decisions or the judiciary makes the decisions or the bureaucrat makes the decisions, what is the point of being a politician? So we are now having a much broader discussion in Britain about what is wrong. Why is the country ungovernable? Why have we had a series of prime ministers who haven't delivered what the population actually want because of the power of the NGOs, because of the power of the global blob, if you like, the bureaucracy? So that's, to me, I want to be part of that discussion about the big changes we need to make in order to make Britain great again, because if we simply change the person in Downing Street, I know from my experience they're not going to be able to do anything without repealing all of the laws that we've just been talking about. For example, the net zero law. If we don't repeal those laws, we're not going to get anything done.
You just mentioned there, make Britain great again. Do you think the UK does need a leader with some of Donald Trump's convictions?
Absolutely. I mean, I think Trump is doing an amazing job. I think he gets vilified, but he is actually standing up for what regular people in our countries want. They don't want mass immigration, they don't want high energy prices, they don't want high taxes, and Trump is actually taking on the global establishment like the UN, like the World Trade Organization, all these organizations who have got in the way of delivering prosperity for people.
Many Jews now say they feel unsafe in London. Do you think this is something that can be changed or reversed at all?
It can be changed, but the problem is we've got a Prime Minister now who is appeasing the Islamists to get votes. And he's recognised Palestine, which is completely appalling after what happened on October the 7th, where huge numbers of people were raped and murdered. And he's not doing enough to make sure that Jewish people feel safe and protected, particularly in London, and these marches that are happening all the time.
We've got exactly the same issue here. I'm interested to know your view on our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. Do you think he is a weak socialist leader?
Well, he's following very similar policies to Keir Starmer. They appear to be very coordinated if you look at the recognition of Palestine or the net zero policies. But I think these policies are wrong. I think they're leading Australia in the wrong direction. And you just need to look at Britain to see a cautionary tale of what happens when the government spends too much money, when energy prices are high because of an over-dependence on renewables. Our industry is closing down, our steel industry, our car industry, and I fear this is the future for Australia if the course isn't changed.
Just finally, you met with Charlie Kirk in London earlier this year. We've seen this horrific reaction where so many on the left have been celebrating his political assassination, literally murdering someone for free speech. In a sense, it's the next step from the UK where people are being arrested for free speech. Well, it's turning free speech into a crime, is my point.
Yeah, I mean, I met Charlie earlier this year in London because we are keen to have the momentum and the movement that he created, talking to young people about conservative ideas, Christian values. We want this in the United Kingdom, and he's a great patriot and inspirational person, and it's an absolute tragedy and a heinous crime that he's been assassinated. And what really bothers me about this is we've seen the left use all kinds of tactics to try and win, not just winning an election or having a rational argument, but they've been using lawfare, they've been using infiltration of the bureaucracy, and now what we're seeing is people on the left using assassination as a technique, and that is beyond horrible. And Charlie Kirk was somebody who actually wanted to reach out and debate the issues, and rather than try and participate in this, we've seen the extreme left go out and kill him. And it's very difficult to see how on earth you can't reason with people like that. So I think Trump is right to sanction Antifa. I'm very, very concerned about these global left-wing networks who essentially have these murderous aims, but we need to be looking at this in the UK and right across the world.
Liz Truss, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Good to be on.
Thank you.
Thank you.